Now in this section, I'm going to discuss various extraction methods. Methods which are going to extract part from a string. It might be a substring or a character. We can divide the extraction methods in two main categories. The first is the string extraction methods and the second is the character extraction methods. I will begin with the first category, that is the string extraction methods. Well, there are three methods which help to extract strings. That is the slice, the substr and substring itself. Let's begin with the slice method. The syntax of slice method looks like this. The slice method has two parameters in which the second parameter is optional. It returns the extracted part as a new string, that is without changing the original string. Let's practically try few ways to get the clear idea. I'm going to define a string. I'll say let str is equal to, let's say first, second, third and fourth. That's how I'm going to define the string. Now it's going to return the string. So instead of storing it in a variable, I'm just going to say str.slice and I'll just write 10 here. As I mentioned in the syntax that we have the start index and optional end index. Here I'm just defining the start index. Let's try to run this and see what happens. Now you see that it starts from the 10th position and it returns the entire string till the end because I haven't mentioned the end index. As a start index, here I can give negative value as well. Now if I run this, you will observe that because I mentioned -10, it started to cut the string from the end of it. Now you see that when I mentioned -10, it actually started from the end of the string and it started from this 10th position and it returned the string till the last character. Now let me make this again positive. Let's try the optional syntax now, the syntax which you see right now. Now here with the 10, I'm going to define 15. Now let's run this code. I'm just going to run this and observe what happens. So it started from the 10th index and it read till the 14th index. Now you observe that because I gave 15 as the end index, it read till the end index -1. That is, it read till the 14th index only. If you give the negative value, let me give -10 here, and if I say -5, then you would observe that when I run this, it started from the -10th position and it read till the -5 position. -5 or -10 is basically the total length minus this value. So you get this string. This is how the slice method works. Now let's check the substr method. We do have substr, generally we call that as substring, but here in JavaScript we have substring as a separate method. So I would call this as substr. So this is the syntax of substr. Here we have the start index and the second parameter is not the end index. Instead it is the number of characters. Of course it is optional. So let me just first of all practically try substr here instead of slice, and I'm going to remove all these values and I'll just say 10 again here, the very same thing. If I run, it's going to give you the very same output which we got while we were using the slice method. Even if you say negative value like -10, then also it's going to give the same output. But the key is that when you give 3 here, for example, then 3 was actually the end index in case of slice, right? But here we have the number of characters. It means that from the 10th position, it will read 3 characters and it will return it in a new string, of course. So if I run this, it will start from the 10th position and it will take the 3 characters which we have here, including the space. Let me just correct to 4 so you get the idea that actually there is one more character as well. So if you compare slice and substr, more or less they both are similar, but instead of end index, it takes number of characters. We do also have a provision to give negative values here as well. So if I can say -10 and 4 characters, then certainly it will start from the end and it will return 4 characters. So from 10th position, it is returning 4 characters. Let me just change -10 to -5. Now if I run this, you'll observe that from -5, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's the O position. From O to 4 characters, that is OURT. So 4 characters, number of characters we get as output. The next string extraction method is substring itself. So I am going to write substring. Now this method has this kind of syntax where you have the start index and end index. So if you compare this with Splice, it is very similar in terms of syntax. The only difference is it cannot take negative values. So let me just try this here. I'll say substring. Otherwise, rest of the things are very similar to Splice. Let me just copy this line and paste it again and give me negative value just to see what happens. So here if you see, we have the value returned from the 10th index, and when I give -10, it doesn't work. Instead, it returns the entire string. You can also give the end index, say for example 10, and I give 15 here. Now let me remove this second console, clear the console and run it. So this output is also similar to the slice method. Now let's talk about character extraction. Now if we talk about character extraction, then there are two similar methods, character at and character code at. First is returning character and the second is returning integer Unicode value between 0 and 65535. Let's check both the methods together. I'm simply going to create another variable called str with different value. I'll say first, second, just a small string I'm using. Now I'm going to say console log. Here I'll say str dot character at the index number. I'll say 3. Even if I give, let's say this console log I copy, even if I do not give this index number here, then also it will give the output. When you do not give the index number, it's going to consider 0 by default, right? So it's going to return the value of f here. Similarly, let me just copy these two and I'm going to paste it again to make it fast, and I'll say character code at. Now this is going to return me Unicode value, that is UTF-16. And let's run this. Now let me clear the console and run the code. Now you see that when I say third position, that is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So S is returned, and in the second case it returns F because by default it considers 0. Here when I say character code at, it returns the Unicode value of S, that is 115, and for capital F it returns 70. There is also another way to extract a character. Let me show you that as well. I'll just remove these methods, and here also I'm just using the traditional way, that is I'll say for example str of 2, that is 0, 1 and 2. Now I'm writing this like an array, though str is not an array. When I run, it's going to return me R here, as you see. So here string looks like an array, but it actually is not. This way of writing the code is not a common way, right? Generally we see that when we want to get a character, we put a loop, we loop through the string, or we have the character at or character code at depending on the requirement. But this is also one of the syntax existing in JavaScript, so I am discussing here. Now let's talk about questions. The first question is, what will be the output of below code? Let me just type the code here first. I'll say hello world and the console log where I'm using str.slice. So what should be the output of this? Now -5, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? And the second, that is the end index, is -2, that is 1 and 2. So it should consider all the characters between starting from 5 and ends at -2. But remember, when you are using this negative index, it is going to consider characters before -2. So you have the output WOR. The next question is, what is the difference between substring and substr? So as we have discussed, substr takes number of characters, whereas the substring takes start index and end index, as you see in the syntax. Now the third question is, what will be the output of the below given code, and explain with reason. Now as you all know that substring does not take negative value. So if I give the negative value, it's going to return me the entire string, because negative is an invalid. But though you are giving an invalid value, it's not going to give you any error at the same time. Now let's talk about the next question. Again, you're supposed to explain the output for the given code. Now substring does take start and index number, but here I want to share one information. That's why I have raised this question. The reason is it's going to start from the third index, but the end index is 3 here. So if I run, you would see that there is no character given because the start and end is similar. Now let me change this 3 to 4 and run. You see that it returns only one character. So the start index is 3, but the end index is not exactly the value it is returning. It is returning start to end index -1. So always remember, if you give both start and end as similar value, whether it is slice or substring, it's going to give you nothing. Let me change this to slice as well and practically see. If I run, you see that it does not return anything because start and end is similar. So always remember, the end index is not the very end till the previous character of the end index is considered. Now let's discuss the last question. Again, you are supposed to explain what will be the output. As I mentioned, character at, if there is no index given inside it, it will consider the first character. So character at will return t here. Let me run and show you the output. You see that it returns t. So in this section, we have discussed few character extraction methods. There can be different programming logics which you need to apply with the extraction. Then the program will make sense to you.